It says I have 1 minute and 7 seconds. I just cut my bangs. I am doing studio vlogs on Thursday, so like art related content on Thursday, book related content on Sunday. Why is it so hard to read? Hello. All right, so time for our first book for September's tabletop TBR reading vlog. I have not read anything yet.
Separately, we have a whole lot of books to read, and I haven't touched any of them yet. Oh boy. Oh boy.
It is September 9th. I've been pretty preoccupied with a bunch of other stuff that has been happening. But yeah, I'm finally breaking into the TBR. What am I saying? I don't know. But I started listening to the audiobook for this. I'm currently trying to use as little electricity as possible between 4 and 9 because PG&E changed the service so that it's significantly more expensive during that time in an attempt to get people to not use electricity as much. And I figured this would be a good opportunity for me to focus on non-computer based things. I do technically still use like my laptop and stuff, especially because it starts at 4 and I usually don't actually stop working until like 5 or 6. My plan is just to switch over to the laptop for like the last hour or two, then transfer into things like reading or drawing or, you know, whatever. So what do I think of this book? I don't know. So basically, the premise that I've gotten so far is that the main protagonist ended up going missing 3 years prior, and nobody knew what happened to her or her sister who she went missing with. And she just returned and she's trying to convince the police and everybody to go find her sister, but she's an unreliable narrator, so we're not entirely sure if the story she's telling is true. I'm not very far in this, but those are kind of the hints that I'm getting at so far. And then we also have a secondary narrator who is the detective who is working on the case and who has been working on the case since they had gone missing 3 years prior. We're learning what happened currently right now through her story, but you're getting hints at different things that imply that her story isn't necessarily going to be the right one. She just wants to tell the story that she believes will get people looking for her sister, and that's what she says in the opening. I'm super interested in seeing what's up. It definitely feels like, I guess it's like a thriller mystery. Feels like there's going to be some interesting twists and turns. Anything could happen at this point, but we're off to a good start. Okay, so I am like 77% into this book and I'm really enjoying it, but this family is effed up on all kinds of levels. Like, I don't know, the just like manipulation that you get between the people in this family. It's heartbreaking when you think about it. All of it's kind of like small stuff so far, you know, like just like weird things that family do, but like it's clearly they're messed up. But it is interesting to uncover all of this information slowly and learn stuff and just try and uncover what is going on. And I'm here for it. I'm super here for it. Okay, I am 88% through this and I have come to a realization that if I am correct, oh boy. Like, oh boy. But I wanted to document this moment of realization before it happens so I can let you know if I am right or not. 11 days into the month, I finally finished my first book of this month's TBR and I loved it. Like 5 stars. This was really good. I was right. And I felt a little bit disappointed. I was like, gosh, man, maybe it would have been cool if I wasn't as right as I was. But the last chapter was so satisfying that I'm happy. I liked it. Hello. So it is 2:15 p.m. I got myself some cappuccino. Basically, sugar coffee is what I call it because it's very sugary and sweet. I got myself some of that because I'm feeling super tired and I haven't done anything. I'm procrastinating. Why am I procrastinating? I was being so productive. Hello. I started reading The Silent Patient Patient today by Alex Michaelides. I am loving it. I'm actually a good chunk through it already, and I've come to a realization. Some things are lining up, and I'm really interested to see how things end up going. I'm feeling some feelings and just getting really into what he's giving to us. Okay, so I just finished The Silent Patient, and admittedly the like big revelation that I had was immediately revealed right after. I do think it was kind of handled in an interesting way, and I did still really enjoy it, but admittedly, as much as I loved everything, I almost want to say the ending fell a little bit flat for me. It wasn't bad. I still enjoyed this. This is still a really high rating for me. Part of me wants to say like a low 5, high 4, but yeah, I don't know. It's funny because like I have been eating this up since I started and was just enjoying everything, and then at the end I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, okay, you know, like it's just, oh, okay, that was cool, you know? So I enjoyed it. I liked it. I would actually recommend it. I do think this was pretty awesome. Like, I loved the revelation. I thought that was cool, and I knew that there was going to be something, I just didn't know what. I don't know. I liked what happened. I guess part of me feels like something else could have happened to even make it a little bit more rich. The actual end scene though was kind of on point. Okay, on to the third book. I started Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, and I am super into it. I really like mystery thriller type things. It's pretty much about a woman who was the lone survivor of a horrible massacre when she was a child, and many years later, certain circumstances leads her to information that kind of questions her belief about what happened that night, kind of about her trying to figure out what happened and like uncover the truth, and you're hearing it from her perspective, and then there's some sprinkling of other perspectives as well. I am digging it so far. I find it to be pretty engaging, and I really want to know what's up. Good morning. So today is Thursday, September 16th, and I'm continuing Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I like the multiple timelines. I like that we're uncovering the story in different ways and kind of figuring out and piecing everything together. I always find that really interesting. I think the general story behind the whole thing has a lot of interesting pieces, so I'm just excited to kind of see where it goes. There are some things that are a little kind of like frustrating that our main character has to deal with in the current time, and some things that you're kind of all like, oh, well, that's what happens. It's an interesting experience because I feel like you want to empathize with the main character, but I don't know, there's just some interesting things that are also happening. Okay, so I just finished Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, and I really liked it. I was super engaged, very involved in the storyline, trying to figure out what ended up happening. I feel like it ended up giving me quite a good deal of information to go off to get my like gears going, enough things to make me wonder and question certain things. I think it did a pretty good job. I do feel like I wanted a little more at the end because I was just so invested in everything, but I also don't feel like there was an issue with how it ended. It's just like greedy me wants more, I think. I don't know. I think perhaps high 4 stars. I feel like I need a different rating system. I feel like there are so many variations between my 4 stars and my 5 stars. Like there should just be more numbers in between them. I enjoyed this, so I'll give it a 4 stars. Might, even if I'm being honest, this might actually make sense to be higher than that, just because it was so engaging and there was so much that I wanted to like know, and I was super invested in it. But I will say, which it intended to do, I hated so many characters in this book. Like so many things that happened made me so mad, and so many characters I was just like, oh, I hate everybody. I didn't hate everybody, but like enough people would pop up that just made me feel like, oh, I hate this person. I don't know. I think it did a really good job just investing, like getting me super invested. Hello. So today is Saturday 18th. Wow, I said that so funny. Today is Saturday, September 18th, and I have just started With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Actually, I'm really far into it. I've just been devouring it while working on Patreon rewards for September. It's funny because I've been kind of putting this book off because even though I'm a huge Elizabeth Acevedo fan and I wanted to listen to this for a while, because it's about teen pregnancy and motherhood and stuff like that, I've kind of shied away from it. I am loving this book so far. I definitely will say Elizabeth Acevedo is one of my favorite writers. Everything that I have read of hers has been absolutely phenomenal, and even though this is the first book that's written in prose and not in verse, it still comes off so lyrical, and of course part of that has to do, I'm assuming, with the way that the author reads it, because she is the narrator of all of her books so far, at least the ones that I've listened to, and I absolutely love her as a narrator and as a writer, so this has just been a very enjoyable experience. So if you don't know, this is basically about a teen mom who absolutely loves cooking and ends up in a situation that kind of gives her hope as a chef while she's kind of dealing with being a teen mom and the responsibilities and what she's going to do next. I believe she's in her senior year of high school, and she ended up having her daughter her freshman year, so she was very, very young. It is very interesting, it is very touching, and I'm really excited to see how it ends. Okay, so I just finished With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I loved it. 5 stars. I'm a big fan of her writing. I will say that it's a slightly lower 5 stars. Oh, she's really good at making you feel the characters. There's just so much like emotion and heart in her writing. So I absolutely adore it. I wouldn't say it is my favorite though. For some reason I feel like I need to clarify that even though I think this is a 5 stars and I loved it, it isn't my favorite Acevedo. I didn't realize how much I would enjoy this type of story. Hats off to you, Elizabeth Acevedo, one of my new favorite authors. So now that only leaves these guys.
Hello, loves. Okay, so today is what? It is Saturday, September 20... I cannot see. But I just filmed the tabletop TBR for October, which is supposed to go out tomorrow, so that should give you an idea of whatever day it is today. It's like the 25th? 26th? I should know this. But a lot of the month has gone by and I still have a couple of books left to read. So I've completed all of these, as you guys know, and then I have these 2/3 left to read. I think I'm going to try and get through all 3 of them for the end of the month. I was originally going to jump into reading Binti first, but I actually think I might switch over to A Plague of Giants because it has a map, which means it'll work for the magical readathon prompt. Oh my god, there's so much stuff that I want to do for that. So I might actually do that tomorrow and take you along the ride. Today is actually just a filming and editing day, so I don't actually think I'm going to read much, but hopefully I'll have a reading update tomorrow. But today has been fairly productive. I ended up editing a ton of videos. I've been flopping around outfits. I just threw on my sleep shirt. It's funny because I wasn't a big fan of the shirt when I first got it because it wasn't what I was expecting, and now I absolutely love it. So I'm like, maybe I should buy a couple of more of these bad boys because they're like giant and comfy, and I'm totally off topic. But yeah, that's where I'm currently at. That's my update. It was a long one. I apologize. I hope you're doing well, and I will give you an update later when I'm actually reading. Why is it so hard to read? Also, unrelated to books, but I have been time blocking for my 9 to 5, my personal job stuff, and I've been killing it. I'm really happy with how things are going. Aside from getting sick on Thursday from mostly lack of sleep, I just had a really bad migraine and like nausea. So that day was just a wash. I didn't do a lot, but other than that, I've been like drawing and editing videos every day in the morning before I go to work. And then today I have filmed
4 videos already. It is currently 1 o'clock, so I'm killing it. I'm killing it out the park. I'm not even supposed to start editing until 2, but I'm uploading the videos right now, and I'm hoping to start editing at like 4 o'clock. I'm gonna like turn off the computer and electronics and stuff because PG&E is raising the prices during that time, and so I'm gonna try and just like draw and do other things. Okay, so it is currently 3:07 p.m. I'm editing the tabletop TBR video for tomorrow, kind of trying to take a little bit of a break. But it's going pretty well so far. It's one of the easier videos that I have to edit, although that may or may not change in the future as I play around with different things. But yeah, I'm kind of working along. I did have a little appearance as I am now because I noticed that I ended up saying something super silly in the video without even realizing it. So editing me popped in to comment on it because I thought it was hilarious. And I wanted people to notice it if they didn't realize, because I thought it was funny. So okay, so I have finally started listening to the audiobook for Binti Home by Nnedi Okorafor. I ended up physically reading the first one in the trilogy and really enjoyed it. I felt like I just like ate the whole thing up. This one, it took me a little while to kind of get into it, but now interesting things are happening and I'm excited to kind of see where it goes. I do find the illustration to be pretty interesting as well on the cover, because one of the things that I find in sci-fi books is that I don't know how to visualize a lot of the non-human creatures that you find in the world. So the jellyfish type creature that she's connected with, I keep forgetting that it's not like a humanoid. Like I sort of imagine the Ood from Doctor Who, versus like if you look at this illustration and the descriptions of what they actually are, you know, they're like floating jellyfish type creatures. I don't know how much I have left. I think I'm pretty close. It says I have 1 minute and 7 seconds. Yeah, let me come back to you. No. Okay, yeah, so I was on like the last line. I have completed it at this point. I did enjoy this. I will say that it was a little bit slow in the beginning. I feel like the first novel was a little bit more engaging throughout. I do feel like this one did some things to try to engage you. Like there was some stuff happening at the beginning, so you had a little bit of action going on there, and then there was the whole kind of plot of everything. And then, you know, there was just a lot of, I almost want to say setup kind of. Also, sorry if I'm lisping. I just got ready for bed, so I put in my retainer. So like I'm a mess right now. It ended up getting pretty interesting towards the end. So I think I'm going to start this tomorrow. I would start it now, but I'm tired, so I'm gonna go to bed after I give this update. And then hopefully I'll be able to start A Plague of Giants, which is actually also really exciting because this is my second and final book for the magical readathon that's put on by Book Roast. So for the novice path, the prompts that I picked were a thriller slash mystery. So I read The Silent Patient for the first prompt, and then the second prompt I went with a book with a map. And technically this wasn't the book that I was planning on doing when I picked that prompt. I was actually going to do The Hobbit, but I just didn't have time to do that because I want to physically read that one. But I found out that this book also has a map, so since it was already on my TBR and I have to read it anyway, and it fits the prompt that I wanted to do for the second novice magical readathon prompt, we're feeding 2 birds with 1 scone. But yeah, I'm exhausted, so I think I'm going to call it a night and I will catch you in the morning. Bye. Okay, so I just cut my bangs. And I'm here for it. I usually have the problem that because of the way that I wear my hair normally, day 2 or 3 or further, hair does not look the business because it just kind of, it like froze out in a way that my style usually isn't supposed to like be. So today is Monday, September 27th. I'm going to start listening to Binti while I do my morning drawing. Today I'm actually going to be working in my sketchbook to do some plans for the October rewards. I started on one of the drawings, but I don't actually know if I'm going to like it. So I want to kind of just play around with sketches and whatnot and see where I go from there. Then I'll be heading to the office, or I guess technically I'll be editing a video for a little bit, and then I'll head to the office after that. That's where we are right now. Good morning. I've got an updo look today. Not sure how I feel about it. I've been struggling with my hair recently, but anyway. So I finished Binti Masquerade and Binti Home, or the Night Masquerade. I don't know, like I enjoyed it. Definitely is one of those like, yeah, sci-fi is cool, but it's not super my thing sort of situations. There were some things that I really liked about it. When I think back on it, I'm kind of all like, oh, I think what they did there was really cool. But admittedly, the actual experience itself was kind of like, like, okay. I wouldn't necessarily say that I felt like the ending was satisfying. So I don't know. I feel meh about it. I will say if people are really into sci-fi, this will probably be really cool. I love that it has the African culture built into it, or you know, some sci-fi variations of African culture built into it. I think that's really cool. Really enjoy that aspect. I got a little bit lost when it came to the different kind of like aliens that were included, which is just from me not being super familiar with reading sci-fi. I did enjoy it for the most part. Like I do think it's pretty cool, so I think this is probably a good 3 stars for me. It just, I really enjoyed the first book, so I guess I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't have that effect from the other 2. And then this morning I started A Plague of Giants, and I'm enjoying this so far in the fact that it reminds me of Dungeons and Dragons, and it kind of has that The Witcher feel. I don't know if you've seen the show. We've got like a bard that's telling the story of whatever ended up happening, this big event that happened, and you're learning about it in pieces through different stories that this bard is telling. I think it's kind of interesting so far. Hello, good morning. It is September 29th. I'm on the last book of the TBR. I'm enjoying it so far, but I haven't really listened to too much more since our last update. I have been working on all of the YouTube video stuff a lot lately. As you guys may have noticed, I am doing studio vlogs on Thursday, so like art related content on Thursday, book related content on Sunday. But I am really excited and see how that affects the channel and if people are liking things and stuff like that. So all the support would be super appreciated. Like, I am so nervous right now. It just hit me that because, you know, I'm doing everything kind of in advance, I don't know how people are going to accept or like the things that I'm doing. Like, what if you guys hate it? I hope that's not the case. I think it's not going to be the case. That was my little update. Since I'm almost done with this, we're about to wrap up this video pretty soon. I will get back to you when I have actual book updates because I feel bad having such an unrelated update. Yeah, thank you. You guys are awesome. Okay, so I am continuing with A Plague of Giants. I am not very far and I'm super nervous because I only have today and tomorrow to do it, but like work is blowing up with stuff that doesn't allow me to listen to the audiobook, so I'm kind of just working on that, and I guess I'll pick up on this a little bit later when I'm able to shift. Your brain thinks of multiple words at the same time and tries to say them. When I'm able to shift over to tasks that are a little bit more open in the mind. Okay, so I'm getting further into the book. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm not even halfway still, and I don't actually have a lot of time to continue this tonight. But yeah, I'm trying to squeeze in as much as I can between work and my D&D game, which is happening pretty soon. Or I guess technically it's not D&D, it's Dungeons Worlds, but my tabletop RPG game that I play with some of my coworkers. And I feel like I'm getting into it. There's still a lot going on. I feel like it's hard for me to say how I feel about these books until the end, because that's kind of like, it's all leading up to some big epic thing. So like if that big epic thing isn't interesting, but like so far I'm into it. Like you've got some political intrigue. I don't know, it's got some sort of Game of Thrones feeling, which I actually really enjoyed the Game of Thrones novels, at least the first couple of ones that I read. But yeah, part of me is all like, maybe I should just buy the second one now, because I am enjoying it so far. Now that the workday is over, I'm gonna listen as much as I can. I will probably give you an update tomorrow, hopefully when I'm looking less bummy. Alright, so I am like 75% done with this book, and I'm loving it so far. There is a lot of representation and inclusion in this that isn't necessarily part of the main story, but is a strong presence that I really appreciate. I'm also at this point starting to build attachments to some of the characters. I also really like the fact that we're in a present day moment and we're being told about this big event via stories that are coming from a bard. There's a couple of reoccurring characters that show up from the storytelling, and then you have the present day. So each of the chapters is broken down into each day that the bard tells part of this large story. And I'm personally on day 16 of him telling this story. They're very long chapters. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I really like it. I will say that there are a couple of characters that come off as samey, which is noticeable for me in general because I don't remember characters' names. Like when I listen to novels or even read books, just I don't even attempt to remember the name because I know that I'm so bad at it and it's like very time consuming for me to try and do that. So I basically know characters by context clues and like the general information about what they do or, you know, what's happening to them or whatever. So there are a couple of characters where even though I can tell that they're different, they're so similar that it takes me a moment to realize like which perspective we're hearing from. Okay, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm tired though, so I'll give you an update tomorrow when I finish it. Hello! So today is the last day of the month. I have a little bit left to finish this book, so I'm on track with my monthly TBR. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm working on the October Patreon reward. They're not ready for the prime time yet, which is a little bit frustrating, but I'm working on them. So I think that's pretty good. Okay, so we have completed A Plague of Giants. I enjoyed it, but I was really surprised when it was over because it kind of just ends. So I am excited to pick up the next book. I'm a little bit bummed because it's a little bit on the pricey side right now, so I'm probably gonna hold off for a little bit, but I do want to continue because I was really getting into it and I'm really excited to see how this goes. There's a lot that I'm enjoying about this book. Now that I finished this, that does mean that I have successfully completed the novice path for Books Road's magical readathon. I'm really excited because even though I wasn't able to dedicate as much time as I wanted to the readathon, I did still manage to participate, and I just submitted all of the forms for the books. Originally, I was just going to do these two books, this one for a book with a map and this one for a mystery / horror or thriller novel. And then as I was filling out the form, I realized that With the Fire on High counts for a standalone, and that does mean that we have completed the TBR for September. All of the books are done and it is the last day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I also hope you're excited about all of the videos that we are now posting on this channel. I really appreciate all of you who watch my videos and leave comments and all of that. You are the best. And I guess with all of that said, if you liked it, be sure to thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, and leave this emoji to let me know that you made it this far. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye!